What's up, music fans of the internet? I'm Kevin.
I'm Derek.
And together we are last week's album, the only reviews with two different views. Normally we're reviewing new albums for you, but this week we're doing a recap of the 8 best bands of South by Southwest 2016. South by Southwest is a huge music festival that happens in Austin, Texas every year. And typically a lot of bands will sort of blow up or have a moment at South by, and this year is no different. So let's get into the ones we think were the best. Derek, you want to start us off?
Absolutely. First on my list is a band called My Bubba. We caught them at St. David's Bethel Hall on Friday night. We're just enthralled by two barefoot folk Scandinavian sirens. They played an acoustic set. The first song featured a cappella vocals, aided only by the step routine they're doing, kind of clapping, all that stuff. Is very, very engaging. The setting in the church was fantastic. This was right around the time a thunderstorm was rolling into Austin. And with this very intimate venue and the acoustic instrumentation going on, you could hear the crack of thunder outside. They weren't afraid to interact with the crowd, giving audience many opportunities to ask questions, to which they responded very sarcastically. They have a new album coming out in April, and they said specifically, for those that like to buy music online, go do it. Otherwise, they will be selling Bacteria online as well. So if you're not into buying music online, you can always buy their Bacteria. Overall, I loved My Bubba. They were fantastic.
First up on my list is the band Hinds. They are a Spanish all-girl rock band. They flew in for South by from Spain, and they said they'd just gotten off their plane about an hour and a half before their show started. They're actually playing 17 shows this week, and this was their first one. So there was a lot of that fresh energy. They were excited to be there, and they sort of jump around and bounce around and laugh at each other on stage. So it's just kind of a really infectious fun. They played 11 o'clock at Hype Hotel and played the hits like Bamboo, Garden, Warts. Just a really fun, lively show.
Next on my list is Trapper Schoepp. We caught him Friday night at Lambert's, and Trapper is a singer-songwriter, and we caught a show. He was playing solo, acoustic guitar, some harmonica, and he was joined by a fiddle player. Overall, really enjoyed his songs. They were very relatable, interesting stories. One song about an old Mercedes-Benz that his grandfather was saving for him to use once he learned how to drive and fix it up. And he's coming out with a new album on April 1st called Rangers and Valentines. And my curiosity's already peaked based on the solid set we caught.
Next up on my list is the band Lucius. They're from Brooklyn. They're a pop band. They have 2 lead singers, females. And the show was really great because they kind of had 2 mics on one stand and they were singing into either side of the mic. This was at Easy Tiger on 11 o'clock on Thursday. They were live streaming, actually, the music onto TuneIn, and so that was cool. They had a much livelier set than the last time I saw them. Their first record was kind of slower, more soulful songs, and so the performance was a little bit moodier and slower. Now their new record is full of energy, and so they brought that with these new songs, and it felt like really, really fun. They were just totally jamming out. Played older ballads like Turn It Around, played new jams like Born Again Teen, and then they actually came back for an encore singing Go Home, which is really funny in the encore setting. But also that really doesn't happen at South by. Set times are so quick, you're on to the next band or the next setup. And so the fact that they got to do an encore was really, really special. So great show by Lucius.
Next on my list is Polica. We saw them Saturday at 2 p.m. at Sidewinders outside. Really solid performance. Lead singer Chani Lani was stellar. I thought she delivered just fantastic vocal performance. The dual drummers was very fun to watch as well. And you can really see how they add punch to Police's sound. The bass player was also throwing it down. They played a lot of material off their latest album, United Crushers, and I definitely got to say they crushed it.
Next on my list is the band Cut Connie. They're a Philadelphia band, and think of like Jerry Lee Lewis meets the Rolling Stones. They came on at 9 o'clock at the Parish, and they set the place on fire. They were the opening band for a really good lineup and came out like no joke. And just the energy in the room was electric. You could feel it. The piano player was jumping up on his piano and kicking his legs out and doing a bunch of fun stuff, and they were totally jamming out. They played some really good songs, Boozophilia, Shake It Little Tina, and afterwards, everyone just kind of looked around stunned. Like no one knew what to do. They just brought it really, really hard. And this is probably my favorite show of South by this year for sure.
One thing I really enjoyed about Cut Connie, at one point the piano player got up and started plucking out chest hairs and giving them to the crowd. And I thought, wow, my Bubba should maybe take notes on this is how you deliver bacteria to your fans, maybe to whet their appetite and fuel more bacteria sales later on. I just thought it was hilarious, especially after seeing my Bubba earlier.
Yeah. He was a very lively frontman for sure and made it all the more fun to watch.
All right, so next on my list is the Yawpers. We saw them Saturday at 5 p.m. at Lucius. They were playing in the front yard area there. This was the Yawpers' last show of the festival, but their performance showed no signs of them running on fumes at that point. This was a super high energy performance. It was just hard to get into the place. First of all, because it was just packed. The highlight was when frontman Nate Cook stepped out in the crowd, headbanging and shredding with the audience right there. I also really enjoyed their self-described jazz break performed by a punk band. They gave it that caveat, but I still really enjoyed it. Anyone that missed this show, I thought definitely missed out. The Yawpers were one of my highlights 2016 South by.
All right. And last but not least, Sweet Spirit. They are an Austin-based rock band who actually just released their debut album. We reviewed it a few months ago. Their players have all sort of been around the Austin music scene in different bands for a while now, but they've sort of formed this new band called Sweet Spirit. They played at 10 p.m. right after Cut Connie, which is probably the hardest act to follow. I think I said that to Derek. Like, how is anyone going to match that? And Sweet Spirit did. They kept the energy of the room alive and well. They rocked out to hits like Baby When I Close My Eyes, Take Me to a Party. And I think great things are in store for this band. They did a really, really great job at South by this year.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was a great lineup at the Parish Saturday night.
There you have it, the 8 best bands from South by Southwest 2016. Make sure to check each of them out. Hopefully you can see them live where you are sometime soon. These are bands you're not going to want to miss if they're coming through your town on tour. So go out and see some live music and maybe come to South by Southwest and join us next year. As always, I'm Kevin.
I'm Derek.
Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to last week's album either here on YouTube or the podcast. And we'll see you next time. Cheers.